I've been training for a while now, and I'm really struggling to see results. That's something I hear from people from time to time. And what I wanted to do in today's quick little video is to describe to you what you actually need to do in order to get results, especially if you are working with a coach or are part of a coaching program. Now, results in fitness are simple. They're not easy, but they are simple. So let's say, for example, you have a goal, and let's say that goal is to lose body fat. Now, body fat loss is a simple process of, and I hate to sort of oversimplify this, but it's basically eat less and move more. So the more training you do, the less food you put in your mouth, the more likelihood of fat loss. But people struggle to get meaningful fat loss. And when I look deep into, or not even deep into, just look on the surface as to why people are struggling to lose body fat, it's pretty much the same things all the time that come up. So the first thing that we have to really do when we are trying to create transformation is to make a decision. And a decision isn't just to make a verbal decision and say, look, I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to start a program, or even invest in a program. A decision is when you make it absolutely the only choice you have. And the word decision comes from the Latin to cut off from, to de-incision, a decision. You know, when you cut into, that's an incision. To cut away from and to cut off from is a decision. You have to decide and then cut off any other alternative. And a lovely story that really sort of like accentuates this point is, and there are a few different sources of this story, so I won't go into where it came from because that's up for debate. But essentially, an army went via boat to take over another land. And when they got to the port or the beach or wherever they sort of docked their boats, their army commander instructed the army soldiers to burn their own boats. In other words, they only had one choice now, and that was to succeed in their mission. Because if they failed their mission, they couldn't retreat. They couldn't go back to their boats and go back. The boats aren't there anymore. So they've not got plan B. There's only plan A, and that plan A is to succeed and win. And that's what is essentially what a real decision is all about. And I want to ask you, and I want to have you consider, have you truly made a decision to get fitter and achieve your health and fitness goals? Because if you are essentially struggling and you've been doing this for a while and you're not seeing things move, I would be brutally honest and say you probably haven't made that decision. And if you're being brutally honest back with me, you're probably going to agree with me. So the first thing, like I said, you have to make a decision. The second thing is you need to know what to do, but the knowledge is not the most important part. Knowledge by itself is just useless information. If all we needed was knowledge, everybody would be a billionaire with six-pack abs. I got that from a guy called Chris the Wiz Miller, who's a really cool life coach. And I don't know where he got it from, but think about that. If all we needed was knowledge, we'd all be billionaires with six-pack abs, because the knowledge is out there. You don't need the knowledge. What you need to do is you need to do the action. And the action needs accountability. And this is fundamentally where most people are slipping up. You don't have the accountability. You have your coaches, but you're not holding yourself accountable to those coaches. Most of you aren't. I'm sorry, I'll be honest with you. Mentorship clients and then nutrition clients, yes, you are, because we have those weekly chats with you and we get your spreadsheets out and we go through your week, etc. But if you aren't struggling, some of you aren't struggling, some of you are doing the nutrition by yourself and you're doing great. But if you are struggling, again, you're probably not accountable to anyone with your nutrition. So if you're telling us, and I'm trying to be really polite here, please don't take this the wrong way. If you're telling me or telling us or telling your coach, if you're not working with us, but you are working with the coach, that you're doing whatever it takes or you are eating healthier, but you're not seeing the results on the scale or in the mirror, on your body composition, however you're measuring your body composition. We use InBody here at TFF Fitness. Unless you're a very, very minor population, part of the population that actually has internal issues that hold you back from losing weight, you're probably not in a calorie deficit. And even if you think you are, you don't have the accountability to prove it. Now, some of you watching this have businesses, some of you have started a business, or some of you understand finance. And it's kind of like hiring an accountant and telling the accountant that at the end of the year, oh, I've made profit and I've spent this much and I made this much. Can you just do my books for me? And they would need to see meticulous details of all your invoices, all your expenses, all your incomings to do that job for you. And if they don't have that, how can they do their job? In the same token, how can we as coaches help you get the results if we don't see the hard data of what you're eating, what you're putting in your mouth on a daily basis, how much? Because look, you might think you're eating healthy, but it's very, very, very easy to miscalculate how much you're actually eating. It's very easy to overeat and think you're in a calorie deficit. If your weight is not coming down consistently or at all, you are not in a calorie deficit. It's as simple as that. This is just science. Okay? You can't make 2 + 2 = 5 no matter how much you cry about it. Again, I'm trying to be nice about this, but I also have to be a little bit harsh. Like if I tell you 2 + 2 = 5, and I'm really passionate about it with my plea, and I say, look, I've worked really hard at this equation, and I'm doing everything, and I've read all the books and I've done all the research, but 2 + 2 = 5. That's what I found out. It's not, my friend. We have to be accountable. Camera there. We have to have that level of accountability. And this one's going to really punch you in the guts and piss a few of you off. I appreciate that, but I'm going to share this anyway because this is not me speaking. This is a very, very successful fitness coach by the name of Scott. And Scott, why does his surname get out of my head right now? If you really are interested in his surname, message me. I'm really struggling with my memory lately. Scott says, if your clients are not paying for nutrition coaching, they are not invested. And if they are not invested, they're not going to get the results. Okay, that's Scott saying that, not me. But he has a very good point. I'm going to, again, ruffle a few feathers here. A few of you struggling refuse to pay for nutrition coaching. And then you wonder why you're struggling. Now, yes, I understand that's money coming out of your pockets. But you cannot create results without some form of change. It's kind of like what Einstein says. You cannot create a different outcome with the same level of consciousness that created that problem in the first place. You can't create a solution with the same level of thinking that created the problem in the first place. So you can't change your nutrition habits, or you can't change your weight on the scale without changing your nutrition. And if you're struggling to change your nutrition, talk to your coach. And if you need that extra layer of accountability or coaching, then you might need to invest in nutrition coaching. Maybe for a month, maybe for 3 months. But that might help you move the needle forward, right? If you don't want to invest in nutrition coaching, that's fine too. You can get all that information online and then try to apply it. And then, talk to your coach or create some level of accountability with someone. But accountability is so important. When it comes to training in the gym, I see that is good for most of you guys. Some of you could train a little bit harder. You know who you are. But the training is the little thing. It's not the biggest thing. It's a little thing. What's more important than the training is your nutrition, is your activity outside of the gym. It's what you do outside of the gym. Like, your sleep, your stress levels, how you manage your stress, and fundamentally your activity outside of your gym. If you're a very sedentary outside of the gym and you're coming in the gym and working out 3 to 4 times a week, that's great. But if you're struggling to see results, you might need to do more outside of the gym if you can't cut down on your food intake. And finally, the other thing here that most people are struggling with, and I'm going to give you the real reason why you're struggling in a minute, but the final reason why most people are struggling from a practical perspective is that they overdo the wrong thing. In other words, they overdo the working out. Now, when you overdo the working out, especially cardio and HIIT training, your body goes into compensatory mode where you actually slow down your metabolism or you overeat. So it's not going to really help you lose the weight. You need to slow down on the training and put more emphasis on the stuff outside of the gym. And actually the most fundamental reason why you're struggling to lose the weight or to get fit or to gain the muscle is, and this is what we're going to discuss on the 7th of December. So keep that date free, 12:30 p.m. I'm going to host a very, very special workshop. This is it. This is the key. If you're struggling to achieve any goal in your life, the biggest thing holding you back is this. And I'm going to expound on that on the 7th of December. But I'm going to give you a clue as to what that thing is. And that thing is your self-identity. It's how you see yourself. It's how you talk to yourself. And if you change that, everything else changes. And we're going to go through a few manifestation techniques. And I know that sounds a bit woo-woo, but we're going to base it on science. And I guarantee you, if you come to that workshop, you're going to leave knowing exactly what you need to do to really shift the needle. I hope that you've watched this whole video and I hope it hasn't ruffled too many feathers. If it has ruffled your feather a little bit, maybe it needed to, not going to lie. Again, I say everything I say out of love because I want you to get results. Because if you get results, we're doing our job right. And if you're not getting results, then something we're doing is fundamentally holding you back and we're not doing our job right and we need to kick up the bum. So let's get results together. That's what we're here for. That's what coaches are here for. So if you're watching this and you're working with us, hopefully you'll be with us on the 7th of December. If you're not working with us, and you're working with a coach, show them this video and tell them that you want some accountability, you want some extra help. The coach will help you if they're not already giving you the information that you need. And if you're not working with a coach and you're struggling, get yourself a coach. Have a great day.